So everything we see, you know this, you have probably heard this many times before, everything we see in our external reality is just a reflection of our internal landscape, our internal reality. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That can be very, very difficult to not only recognize, but then to fully realize and to fully feel with your whole being that this is the truth, that you accept that truth, that you can see, okay, actually there's some set of beliefs that are slumbering under some thick blanket that I might not recognize what it is, based on certain traumas, based on other people's opinions, based on society, family, friends, etc., and so on, school, the system in general, right? All these things that influence your perception of reality, and the certain set of beliefs that are created through that perception, through that perceptual distortion, you could say. You don't even have to put it on the quotation marks. I don't know why I put it on the quotation marks, but perceptual distortion basically is what it is. So what you're seeing outside is the truth on the inside, but it's not the full truth. You are hyper-focused on seeing the negatives. And I'm definitely guilty of that. That's why I'm sharing this, in hopes to inspire you, sharing my story. The most important thing you can do right now, I think, in the world is to share your story, to be yourself, to be your authentic self, even with all these fears, even with all the doubts, even with all these excuses that come up in your mind. And this is not to play them down. There are really, really deep root causes for that, and some might be not so deep. You know, if you just feel a little bit of unease or some slight anxiety about sharing your story, about starting creating, there's just some slight unease, okay, maybe it's not that deep. But if it's like really something deep and you notice yourself, okay, I keep procrastinating on that same thing over and over again, even maybe since months and years, I know this is the thing I want to do, and it's certainly true for me. Like, I procrastinated even on this video. I procrastinated on sharing my story to a larger audience and to a deeper extent, because I have this feeling that it would be judged, it would be viewed as non-valuable, as non-valid, as people would not appreciate it, you know. Thoughts like not being good enough, of course, that's a strong one, that's a really deep one that came up the past few days really, really strongly. Like, I felt extremely heavy, to be honest. And then this idea for this video came up, you know, out of this heaviness, out of this depression, really. It was, for a few days, it was really, really depressed. I felt really depressed. And out of this depression, out of this low, heavy energy, came actually an idea where I thought, hey, actually, I should share this with people. Hopefully it will inspire you, you know. Like, every mountain and every challenge and every obstacle you can encounter in your life, or that you encounter in your life, can be viewed as a lesson, thing that happens for you rather than to you, right? And the biggest mountain to climb is obviously ourselves. So we are standing very often in our own way. Sure, there's external factors, sure, there's societal things happening, and there's other external influences and environmental reasons for feeling stuck or not feeling like you fully progress towards the goals you want to progress towards. But ultimately, the biggest obstacle is us, ourselves, and everything else is a projection from that internal reality. So that's something you want to keep in mind. I know it's a long introduction to this topic, but I thought it's important to share. So I personally felt many times like I was in such a dark place in the past, and only when I met my wife 3 years ago and when we married, that's when color came back into my life. Literally, like, I was not painting with color, I was just drawing black and white with ink pens, and it was dark, it was heavy, it was surreal. Some people liked it, you know, but I myself, I didn't even like it fully. I just did it because that's what was inside. It was such a dark, heavy place I was lingering in, and it was basically an expression of the shadow. As you have the shadow aspect of yourself, and you have multiple aspects of that, and you have lighter attributes and lighter aspects of yourself, and they are all like a whole plethora of little snippets and aspects of your whole total self. So you're not just one being, you're not just one essence, and you're just pure and joy and happy all the time, or you're not just only gloomy and only depressed, but you're split into many fragments. And this process of investigating what's going on inside and looking on to the inside is basically a process of trying to regain this level, this sense of wholeness within yourself.